I was going to say it's that time of the year again, but it's happened so frequently. It's that time of the month again, not that one. It's that time when Premier League football stops and international football starts. But more importantly, it's when we ask you for ideas for our videos. And we have got one from Westwood Hammer, I believe, Gio.
We do. It says, do you think if we keep Lopetegui in this international break, that we are in danger of going down? For me, I really do think so. No one is ever too good for going down. We experienced it, and I worry about that. Looking back at the games we have played, I think we could have had 6 points and we couldn't even complain about it. And he's not the only one mentioning the R word. Paulsies, for example, Paul said, if you were accepted 17th right now, would you take it? He said he would.
Well, just before I throw this over to you, Gio, I've got to say, I mean, I mentioned this in a video a couple of days ago. Next 2 games, as I understand it, are Newcastle, 25th of November, followed by Arsenal. We ain't. I can't see us going any higher than 14th. Now, I don't necessarily think we'll get relegated, but as I've said on a few occasions, I look at the teams above us, and I don't think we're better than any of them. So I can't dismiss it as a conversation at this point. I completely understand why. Well, Westwood and everybody else would be asking a question, quite frankly. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, it feels ludicrous to be suggesting. Hey, if you told me in the summer, oh, the November international break, you'll be discussing relegation, I would have said, I'll leave it out. I don't like Lopetegui, but he's not that bad. Turns out he is. Well, it really is, isn't he?
He is bad.
The team, it's not even like we're playing okay and getting okay results. We're playing poorly and picking up less than average results at the minute. And I agree with what you said, which is, if we had less points, we couldn't really complain about it. And I certainly feel that's the case, especially with the Man U game in particular is the one that stands out where you felt you maybe got something you perhaps didn't deserve then. So am I worried about relegation? To some extent. And it's not because I believe that the team's rubbish or anything like that. We shouldn't be in a relegation battle. We're more than capable of having a comfortable season, being mid-table. There's 2 reasons I'm worried about a little bit about it. Reason number 1 is Lopetegui, and reason number 2 is Sullivan's reluctance to sack Lopetegui. I think if we were to sack him and bring in a decent manager, now we all have a different opinion as to who is a decent manager, but let's just say right now at home, think of a decent manager. We've just employed him. We're all different. Think of him. We've employed him. We've just employed a decent manager. I think my fears of relegation would disappear pretty quickly because I'd expect him to come in and do a reasonable job and keep us up comfortably. However, the longer we retain Lopetegui, I think the likelihood of those fears increase because I agree with you. Newcastle, Arsenal, I'm expecting 0 points.
Yeah.
I'm expecting 0 points. You're only heading in one direction in the league if you're doing that.
Yeah.
So it's quite feasible. We go into the Leicester game and we're just outside the bottom 3, possibly even in the bottom 3. And it becomes a must-win game and you almost know what will happen. You'll scrape a win and here we go. The cycle starts again. So, yeah, I have some small concerns. I have big concerns about being dragged into a relegation battle, but I have tiny, if any, concerns about being relegated, if that makes sense. I'm more concerned about being dragged into a relegation fight than I am about relegation at this point.
Yeah, I would like to know in the comments, actually, at the very point where Gio said that good manager, that decent manager, think of him now, whoever it is. I want to know who that is. Actually, I don't want to know who you want. I just want to know who the first person pop in your mind was. I don't care if it was Doc Cotton. Honestly, it could be anyone. It could be Gareth Southgate, who I know is nobody wants, but I'll be very interested to know who that first person that popped into your head was. Do you know mine was? I'll give you one guess. I was last all day.
Well, I would guess you might have thought of Ivy Lola, Bournemouth.
I didn't. Who would probably be, certainly one of my top 2 choices. No, it was De Zerbi for some reason. That's why I asked. It wasn't necessarily the guy. I don't know why. When you said the words, popped into my head. So yeah, I'm sure it would have popped into a few other people's heads as well. Sullivan's ability not only to act on it, because I think things are different now. So I don't think we'll get relegated, by the way, because I just think there are 3 who are worse than us. I think there is a chance if we stayed with Lopetegui for the whole season, we could be dragged in
Yeah, that's my
to
fear.
the muddle, which is pretty much what you just said, absolutely. Because I feel when we're relying on hope rather than competency, and I think when you're probably working on the training ground and you're doing these training drills, and maybe certainly a lot of them will be international players and they'll have seen other coaches working elsewhere, you would, as a player, I think, start to lose faith in what you're doing working. So I think after a while, the words of the manager start to lose their potency. So I think you could stand there with your board and your tactics counters and whatever instrumentation you're going to use to demonstrate to the players what you're going to do next week. There comes a point where you say, look, we understand you've said this, the guys running down and overlapping and those guys going in there. We understand that, Gaffer. It's just not going to bloody work, is it? And I think there would come a point where you get to that stage, and it's not even an unwillingness to listen to instruction. It's just a lack of belief in the instructions that are being issued to you. So I think that's a really, really big issue for us as well. The Sullivan bit I will get onto in just a second, but before I tell you about that, can I please demonstrate and show you the contents of my Manscaped pouch? Quite frankly, because inside
Probably not the pube trimmer. Oh my god! Don't demonstrate the pube trimmer. We don't need to see that.
It's okay. This is actually a pubeless pube trimmer because I've never used it on my pubes. I'm going to be perfectly honest with you now. The reason for that is not because it's like the Amazon rainforest down there. It's because I've actually still got the Manscaped 4.0, which is so bloody good. This one has not been used, but if you did want to get one of these, we can give you a 20% discount and free shipping. You'd have to use our discount code, which is Hammers Chat Pubes, all one word. But don't just take my word for it. Take the word of anyone else that's used this stuff as well. I've been using male grooming stuff for a long, long time. This just beats anything else on the market. It's waterproof. I don't know how they've managed that. The first time I ever took the 4.0 into the shower, I'm thinking I'm going to get electrocuted. No, not only did I not get electrocuted, I could see me pecker as well because it's got a torch on it. I love the beard trimmer. I think it is the best male grooming tool, any company, anywhere. It's absolutely brilliant, but they do so much stuff. Basically, got a hairy hooter. That's okay. Get the weed whacker for that. Hairs in your ears. You've got that. That's a really good one. There you go. That's it there. It's a really, really good bit of kit. Aftershaves, balms, ball deodorant, boxer shorts, travel bags. Go and give the website a look. The link's in the description below for Manscaped. Great gear. 20% off. Hammers Chat Pubes discount code, all one word, and free shipping. Good gifts, by the way, for people for Christmas. So give that.
Get your dad a pube trimmer. There you go.
That won't be awkward at all. But no, he wants it. He just doesn't know it yet. Sullivan. Not that he's got anything to do with pube trimmers. That's just not a good segue, was it? Sullivan, my problem is, who will he appoint? And this is the issue, and I would like to get your opinion on this. Because I think things are different now. So I think there's more pressure from before. Sullivan could do what he wanted in many respects because David Gold and Karen Brady would say yes, and they'd be fine. It's clear that he hasn't got it's got a straight run at it now at Kretinsky. Otherwise, we've already know that he interviewed Steidten. So at the very least, he's got to answer to somebody. He's not answering to somebody he's been in business with for 30 years. And he knows. Sullivan probably made Karen Brady. You know, all that stuff, the apprentice and businesswoman, he gave her a leg up. It's a terrible phrase. He gave her a start. He crikey. Dear me. He gave her her business. He gave her a business start in life. And let's get back to that trimmer. He gave her a business start in life. And I think you know what I'm saying. Kretinsky has had no such dalliances in his business life with Sullivan. So he could be more ruthless and he could say to Sullivan, no, this ain't working. My point is, this is what I'm trying to make. So as I sort of keep digging any bigger, I'm not even going to say that word, actually, because everything just seems rude at the moment, even in my own mind. I'm not convinced that Sullivan will make the right decision with whoever he decides to replace Lopetegui with.
Yeah, I mean, my concern in regards to Sullivan replacing managers during the season, which we have evidence, Pellegrini, Slaven Bilic, there is some. There's always someone lined up. And I mean, granted, both times it was David Moyes, but when he has sacked managers during the season, how Moyes get a leg up as well. But when he has decided to finally sack Slaven Bilic and Pellegrini, and writing was on the wall with both them two for quite some time before he eventually pulled the trigger. But he didn't do it until he had the next guy ready. And to some extent, I would argue that it was the same with Moyes, even though it was a different scenario in the sense that his contract had expired. Sullivan didn't let his contract expire and then wait to see which managers became available. Would I want him? I don't know, but I'll throw a name out there. Pochettino was not available when Lopetegui was hired, was available very soon after. And it's one of those names you thought, maybe we would have fancied him had we known he was going to become available. Sullivan moved rapid to get Moyes replaced, so much so that I'm pretty sure Moyes' coat was still in the manager's office and Lopetegui was swinging on the chair, right? It was
swinging now. This video is taking quite a turn. They're all at it at West Ham. No wonder they're not picking up any points. They're all exhausted.
Well, I'm hoping we do some swinging because someone can have a shot of our manager and we'll have a shot of theirs, please.
Absolutely.
we could do swapsies with someone. That would be good. But my point is, Sullivan always needs someone lined up. And the big issue with that is it restricts you heavily to the free agent market.
It's true. It's true.
You ain't going to be ringing up Brentford and say, hey, Thomas Frank, how do we go about getting him? He's not going to be doing that. He will not. It will be a free manager that he would go and approach and try and work out if it was feasible and then get the contract sorted. And then eventually he would sack Lopetegui. Then could probably be wet on the other guy's contract and Lopetegui would be getting sacked. So I think what that does do is it rules out us bringing in a manager that's currently in a job. And I think that restricts us heavily. So Sullivan concerns me in that regard. It's not to say there's no managers available on the free that would do a decent job. I'm sure there are a few. But I feel like in the summer we had a really good opportunity to bring in somebody that would be here for the foreseeable future, etc., etc. We gave a guy a 2-year contract. Even that just smacks of short-termism at West Ham. But we were in a good enough position back then. We just finished 9th. We had some good players. We had over 100 million to spend. But that was an attractive position to managers. Now we're in an okay position. The middle of the bottom half of the table. Still got some good players. You wait any longer. If you get beat by Newcastle and Arsenal, suddenly that proposition is different, which is we're in the relegation zone. Anyone want it? The managers we can get today are a lot less than what we could have got in the summer, I believe. But they're more than what we could have in 3 weeks' time once Arsenal pull their pants down.
It's another one.
That's why he worries me. He just worries me. And the irony in all this is he'll talk about loyalty and patience. Yet just yesterday we heard the stories that Sullivan is taking back control of transfers after one transfer window. That ain't patience and loyalty. That's just a man that likes to be in charge. And it's the same with the manager, really, Lopetegui. Do you believe in Lopetegui, or are you just hoping you're going to be proven correct? Because if you sack him now, you're admitting you were wrong. Wait and hope, and that's all we've got. And then you might be proven right. I don't think so. So, yeah, that's my worry. Relegation, not really. Relegation fight, definitely.
Well, thank you for tuning in to Carry On Hammers chat. We'll be back again tomorrow with some more innuendo, that's for sure. Be it getting a leg up, swinging, wet contracts, or anything else. By the way, please do let us know though who popped into your head. Not like that. Who popped into your head when Gio said us bringing in a decent manager? No comments. We know what you're gonna write about. Leave it out, you dirty lot.